We move on. We talk about one of the most talked about stories, that is the story around IDAC. We saw before the Madlanga Commission what came out, and some are asking about the future of IDAC, which is the investigating directorate against corruption, because it remains a concern to most South Africans. We saw the resignation of its former head, Advocate Andrea Johnson, and the suspension of senior investigators Dylan Perumal, Suneel, Bellochun, and Brian Padayachee over allegations ranging from witness statement manipulation and leaking of sensitive information to extortion. During a media briefing, Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi, alongside National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Mothibi, insisted that calls to disband IDAC are unfounded, saying institutions should not be judged by the actions of individuals. The minister reaffirmed that IDAC remains a vital weapon in the fight against high-level corruption as measures are implemented to restore stability and public confidence in the Directorate. And I'm joined now by Sihle Hlongwane, Director at Madlanga Incorporated, representing General Madondo, Khumalo, Lekalakala, and Lushaba, Mike Bolhase, a specialist investigator, and Dr. Leonard Max, former Western Cape Police Commissioner. But before we engage our guests, here's a clip.
Prosecution-led investigations, if correctly done, is a brilliant method. But as it stands, it is left open to manipulation of targets. It is so easy at this point of where we are as IDAC to manipulate the statements, who the suspects are, how the investigation is to proceed, who witnesses will be, what these witnesses will say, how they will say it, what evidence is included, what evidence is not included. And it has, as I will later show, been manipulated by and used by Advocate Johnson and Mr. Perumal.
Shanta Ramsamy there, who was testifying at the commission. So we go to our guests now. Unfortunately, we lost one of our guests, but we remain with the director at Madlanga Incorporated. That is a lawyer representing General Madondo, Khumalo, Lekalakala, and Lushaba. We are also joined by Mr. Bolhase, who is a forensic investigator, among others. But we really have to start with you, Mr. Bolhase. Were you surprised by the revelations? And perhaps as a layer on top of that particular question, what do you think should happen to IDAC?
Yeah, this is a shock, but I maybe in a way anticipated this, because you have this many a times happening. You have special units and then they get influenced or they make mistakes. However, we must not forget a few things. IDAC has done brilliant up till now, and I'm speaking on behalf of the public. The public is fully and totally supportive. However, the damage is now done. I agree that IDAC must carry on and must rectify and regroup and re-strategize with extreme forensic polygraphing, extreme profiling of the investigators, also lifestyle audits, as well as a support system. Remember, these people have extreme pressure. They don't spend time with their families. I worked closely with IDAC and still do, and I can tell you some of them are in tears. They are emotional. And I don't see deliberateness here, and I see this as a matter for discussion and not division. And I believe that the NPA and the Minister of Safety and Security and IDAC must work together. You know, we have a system in my specialized unit that there is no such thing as one investigator. There's a group, we call it the go-to guys. If a case comes to us, it's always on video and audio, always. Even if you bump into somebody in the in the halls and you say something, it's important to audio, video it, and document it. Always. If they had that, if IDAC had done that from the beginning, they could have presented their evidence, and I don't think we would have had this debacle. And this is what they must do now. You must audio and video, all digital and electronic information must be presented always at any time to the MPA and the minister, and there must be careful planning before executing an arrest or prosecutions done. But this is a matter for discussion, not division. And the criminals love this, eh? Remember, the criminals love this division.
Okay, let's go to Sihle Hlongwane, Director at Mhlanga Incorporated, who represents General Madondo, Khumalo, Lekalakala, and Lushaba. Your clients must be relieved. Do they want to pursue this matter further in terms of laying criminal charges, or are they just happy that their names are vindicated?
Well, good afternoon, Tapelo. At this juncture, it will be pretty much premature for my clients to have a view in the matter, because it must be remembered that the DPP has communicated his decision to withdraw the case against all our clients and to subject all the matters that were under investigation and prosecution by IDAC to a review process. However, the matter remains pending in court, and the decision obviously will have to be pronounced on by the presiding magistrates on the date where our clients are due back in court. And it would be at that stage that our clients will obviously then consider their positions and be properly advised on the matter on the next course of action that our client intends to charter. So at this juncture, it is pretty much premature.
Yeah, let's talk about what also came out of the Madlanga Commission, because it was asked of Advocate Johnson as to what the motive is, but there was no clear answer. Do your clients perhaps have an inkling of what could have been the motivating factor around all of this for them to be in a situation where they were put under by IDAC?
Well, at this stage, the evidence is not clear. But what we can say, as every South African who has had an opportunity to observe what is happening from the Madlanga Commission would say that there is some political interference or some interference of some sort, and that is borne out from the evidence that is being laid bare at the Madlanga Commission. But just to digress, I see that my fellow panelist here says, well, IDAC has been successful. But what must be noted that I'm not sure whether the success that he refers to has been laid bare for the public to see. While I accept that as a nation we do need strong institutions to combat and fight corruption, and we support any plight that might be taken by the government to ensure that that is done. But what has happened at IDAC, it is clear that the leadership at IDAC were either complicit, incompetent, deliberate in the manner in which they took all reasonable steps to contravene the law, act contrary to their ethical obligations which they have.
Let's ask Mike. Let's ask Mike to explain what he meant by that. Perhaps you want to take this opportunity, Mike, to clarify the point that you are making, because we haven't heard much about the successes at IDAC. Maybe it's because we caught on late because of what transpired at Madlanga.
Yes, well, if you look at the history of the Madlanga Commission, it's been the most successful commission yet. And remember, I speak I agree with what the advocate is saying there, but I speak on behalf of the public in the sense, what does the public and how do they see it? And what they have seen and heard since the inception from the Madlanga Commission, it is straightforward. They say what they mean what they say. And the commission in itself is uncovering the rot and the corruption in the best way ever. since General Nkwanazi stood up and said, not only said, he presents evidence. The lady that previously spoke in the Madlanga Commission also said in her statements that she will later present evidence. It's one thing to say something or hear something or assume something, but it's another thing to present it factual. And so far, IDAC has done very well with its 130, a small unit, but I think the pressure got to them, and I think there was, as he has said, there was some issues not sorted and some avenues taken without proper, real, as I've previously explained, go-to guys, making all an informed decision. You cannot, as a head, all power always will corrupt. You cannot just as a head make a decision. You need to consider the whole team and then make informed decisions and with other teams. And that's what I think went wrong here, but they've arrested and they have made a difference. And we have seen that some has been brought to book, and that has made the public, speaking on behalf of the public, very happy that this is not just another commission. That's a lot of talk and no action. And that's why I pray to God. I mean, I think the minister or somebody has said that we should be a God-fearing country. Where is God in the picture here? If we are God-fearing, we'll do everything correct and we will have perfect communication. That we will pray for IDAC and our government and our authorities, that they will work together to solve this and not just get another unit and another unit. I once again say IDAC can be successful if it works very closely with the minister and the NPA and regular forensic polygraphing, profiling, and financial investigations in each and every one, lifestyle audits.
Let me go back to Sihla. I know you haven't gotten instructions yet, but if your clients were to say maybe they want to press criminal charges against those that had put them in a situation that they had been put through, would there be a legal standing, at least on that end?
I pretty much think they would, because just to take it from what my fellow panelist is saying, that what I glean from what he's saying, he simply minimizes the rot at IDAC as ordinary failure of an institution. This is not an ordinary failure of an institution. It's an extraordinary failure because IDAC as a unit, it was created with the purpose of having it prosecute high complex criminal matters involving fraud and corruption. And it is a unit within the NPA where you gather the creme de la creme of prosecutors, investigators who have the necessary and the requisite expertise, with people with wealth of experience. So it is not a question of simple a failure by the institution. So we say, with all those factors in mind, our client should really consider the position of laying criminal charges, because we say this is not just mere negligence. It was deliberate. They obfuscated evidence. They didn't comply with the law deliberately, not as a failure of understanding what was required of them. So I think that would be my simple answer to the question that you are putting to me, Mothibi.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for talking to us. This is all the time we had for this very interesting discussion. There was Sihle Hlongwane, Director at Mhlanga Incorporated, who's representing General Madondo Khumalo Kalakala and Dishaba, as well as Mike Bolehase, a specialist investigator.